I'm Alex from Centre for Cancer Nutrition and welcome to my Aussie kitchen. You just can't have too many koalas, can you? Do you like the Chrissy koalas? I love them. Look, Claire and Joe from Cancer Pal have asked me to give you some tips on how you can find joy in every bite this Christmas. That sharing a Christmas meal and connecting with loved ones over an indulgent feast is what the festive season is all about. But when you're going through cancer treatment, Christmas can be a particularly stressful time of the year. Some people are really overwhelmed by the occasion and all the things they have to do on their to-do list. I call mine a ta-da list because if something actually gets done, it's like ta-da! But through all of this, cancer treatment continues because cancer doesn't take a holiday. When you have cancer treatment side effects, food becomes just another one of those stresses. Side effects dictate how you can eat and what you can eat. At worst, you're not able to enjoy the Christmas meal with your family and friends. The side effects from treatment just make it too difficult or too painful to enjoy a regular meal. So nausea, mouth sores, sore mouth, taste changes, to name just a few, are some of the side effects that completely take away your enjoyment of food. And why should you have to miss out on the indulgent festive food? You shouldn't have to, and you don't have to. There are festive foods that you will be able to eat, and sometimes it only takes some small tweaks just to have them agreeing with your side effects. So helping people during the Christmas period is really close to my heart. I had my treatment over Christmas and honestly it just sucked all the joy out of everything, and I don't want you to go through that. But I've got some suggestions on adapting food if you have difficulty swallowing, difficulty chewing, sore, dry or ulcerated mouth, sore throat, nausea, taste changes or loss or dull taste and smell. These side effects are common and would normally stop you enjoying your food almost instantly. Look, we'll start with a sore mouth, difficulty chewing, swallowing and a dry mouth and throat because they're really easy to put together. And the trick to eating with these side effects lies with texture and consistency of the food. Anything that is remotely rough and has to move around your mouth while you're chewing will cause pain. And in this case, look for foods that are smooth and easily swallowed. It doesn't mean that you have to have everything that will go through a straw, though sometimes that is completely necessary. So let's look at some of the favourite foods that you might have on your Christmas table. The roast vegetables are often a big part of Christmas lunch or dinner. So instead of roasting the vegetables, mash them. It's a great way to get around this. So mash them to a smoothness that will agree with the inside of your mouth. You can also alter the consistency of the mash to be gentler to the inside of your mouth and much easier to swallow. So a thinner consistency can be achieved by adding milk, stock or any other liquid. Now gravies and sauces are really great for adding extra moisture too for a dry mouth. So adding butter, olive oil or full fat Greek yogurt will create slipperiness and that may help with the food going down a little easier. But if you're finding things a bit too acidic and salty and they will sting an ulcerated mouth, avoid using salt or any seasonings on the food. So try cutting food into little small pieces as this might help when you have trouble swallowing. I know it seems easy. And mince meat if you have to because that requires less chewing. Now meat that's been slow roasted or stewed and is literally falling apart will melt in the mouth and doesn't need much chewing. So perhaps make up a pot of turkey noodle soup as well if you have a particularly dry mouth. This could be blended into a smooth soup if required, so that's great, no chewing required at all. And many people find some relief from a sore mouth with icy bowls. I know it's cold over there, but really, trust me on this one, try it. So you can freeze some diluted cranberry juice infused with rosemary and just pop it into little icy pole molds and in the freezer, run them under a bit of warm water, pop them out and it'll be lovely in the mouth. But if your mouth isn't sore but you have metallic taste, add some lime or lemon juice, give your taste buds a bit of a wake-up call. Now I come from a family of dunkers, which is much better than being a family of plonkers. We constantly dunk our biscuits into a cup of tea. Now this might help you enjoy a piece of shortbread or gingerbread without the roughness and the dryness. But just be careful that your biscuit doesn't become too soggy and it just goes plop into your tea. It's quite a fine line. Now, a smoothie made with good nutritious ingredients can be a meal in itself. So use a good quality protein powder, some fruits, a pinch of cinnamon and some coconut water and you're done. It's a great breakfast or a great anytime meal for that fact. Soft and moist overnight oats will be soft on the mouth and full of nutrition. So add in some Christmas flavours and start your day off in a true Christmas fashion. You may want to skip the Christmas pudding, but there are so many alternatives that you can have, and one of my favourites is no churn creamy ice cream, homemade of course. So all you need to do is take a tin of condensed milk, full fat cream, and flavour it however you want. Look, you can sprinkle in some cinnamon, or if you can get a Christmas blend of spices, which I have at home here, certainly use those. Now what I've got here is, look, you can make it plant-based, easy to do, sweetened condensed milk, or if you want the caramel taste, this is called Top and Fill Caramel. It's a caramel flavoured condensed milk, so honestly, just terrific for that. And for a real Christmas flavour though, you can get a little jar of fruit mince and blend it till it's smooth. When you put the ice cream in the container, just swirl that through and it will be beautiful. Another alternative to Christmas pudding is making up some really moist and smooth bliss balls with Christmas flavour in them, or you can do that with some Christmas pudding in them too, just make them nice and moist. You can make up mini cheesecakes in a jar, but just skip using the base, the crushed up biscuits, and then you won't have any roughness going down your throat. Now for nausea. Now Cancer Pal did a whole month of nausea help earlier this year, and I did a video for them, so go and have a look at all of those resources. But generally ginger is universally well known to assist with nausea, so try adding ginger into your mashed vegetables along with a pinch of cinnamon. That can really help quell the tummy too. Now for one of the other biggies, it's loss or dulling of smell and taste. And when we can't smell well, we lose our ability to detect flavour, because 80% of what we perceive as flavour actually comes from our sense of smell. So the old nose is hugely important in the enjoyment of food. In the absence of smell and taste, texture, temperature, and what's referred to as pain, I'll explain that in a minute, become really your best friends. So when the taste is dull, how food feels in the mouth becomes really important, because our brain gets a lot of feedback and can receive all that information and makes something in your mouth a bit more interesting. So let's get into the elements within a dish that you need to look out for. When it comes to texture, texture's not just crunchy. There is so much more than just crunchy. It can be smooth, it can be moist, it can be sticky, creamy, dry, chewy, crispy, crumbly, tender, chunky. You get the idea. Now the best idea is to incorporate at least 2 or 3 different texture elements into a dish, and that just makes it more interesting in the mouth and more interesting for the brain. Now I mentioned that pain one before, so this doesn't sound really great, but it's not pain in the bad sense of the word. The technical term is actually chemosensory stimulation, but it's easy to explain in terms of types of food and their reaction in the mouth. So here we're actually talking about the 5th cranial nerve, the trigeminal nerve. Sorry, I've got all nerdy, but that's just my background. And you want to look for foods that trigger a reaction. So by reaction, that can be one of like warming and heat that comes when you have chili and cinnamon. It can also be one of stinging sensation up the nose and the watery eyes when you have anything with a wasabi in it. And it can be, just let me jump this forward a bit, or it can be the cooling sensation that comes with mint and eucalyptus. So that's different to like temperature hot and cold, which is quite literally hot, cold and anything in between. So your mouth can get a lot of information by combining foods with different temperatures. So you might sort of think here, I'm going to have a crispy green salad leaves with some warm or hot turkey. That would actually be a great combination. You can add in some spice as well. Look, hot or warm food also emits odour molecules, more odour molecules than cold food, and the olfactory nerve, the one that's responsible for smell, has more of a chance of picking up the smell of the hot food. And this is important to know because it may help you with detecting flavours, and flavour is the all-important thing here. Now there are 5 other big elements that come into play as well, and they are our 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter and umami. Now interestingly, when the smell is absent, our basic taste may still be present, but it's all a bit reduced. So So when the taste and smell are reduced, we need to look at ways of maximising those primary tastes and making them somehow bigger so we can maximise our flavour perception. Look, citrus and sour foods are known to stimulate the taste buds, so look for recipes that include these types of ingredients. For example, anything with citrus fruits, fresh cranberries and some berries like a fruit salad or something that's topped with a berry coulis would absolutely fit that bill. Some people like to get their taste from salty foods, so example of these foods are cured meats, bacon, chorizo, some cheeses like parmesan would tick that box as well. And fragrant foods are often very aromatic, and this helps being able to smell a little bit better. So find recipes that use quite floral elements like rose, citrus and jasmine. Now, umami, our fifth basic taste, will provide the most bang for your buck. So umami can intensify taste and stimulate saliva flow. So umami gives food that, I can't quite describe it, savoury element. And it's the meatiness that you find in mushrooms and the savouriness that we find in so many other foods. So foods to look out for and to include in our meals are Parmesan cheese, soy, Vegemite or Marmite, sun-dried tomatoes, miso, seafood, mushrooms, kimchi and other fermented foods, green tea, peas is one of a really good one, anchovies, Worcestershire sauce and seaweed, just to name a few. Let's put this all together to help you make a meal that's interesting in the mouth and that will have you wanting to fill your, what is until now, an empty plate. So we want to use lots of those true tastes, so our primary tastes in a meal, and these are the 5 basic tastes: the sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami. And this also includes mixing sweet with sour ingredients, as this combination has been shown to give greater stimulation to the taste buds. So using strong flavours is very important because subtlety is just not going to cut through dull taste buds. And of all the food textures, crunchy and crispy are the two that will have the most impact. So seeds can be used to really good effect here, as can nuts. Just anything that will add crispiness. So food also needs to be really pretty to look at. This will stimulate the appetite, which is really important, and just make you want to eat what's on your plate. If you're feeling as though you have FOMO if you don't eat it at all. You'll find many more Christmas recipes adapted for side effects, as well as videos on our website and Cancer Pal's website too. So I'm wishing you and your family a very merry and tasty Christmas.